called. Please hang up and try again.
Hey, I'm Madelaine Buttini, the host of 1-800-Madbutt. I'm a visual artist from Australia on a conversational journey to call up and talk with the best artists, entrepreneurs, and visionaries of our time. Join myself and my guests as we unravel the stories behind their breathtaking creations and groundbreaking businesses. Make sure to check out our Instagram for extra show notes. You can view it at 1-800-Madbutt. Alright, cool. Let's get into it. Hey fam, how you going? Sorry, last week was a weird fever dream. I had an interview planned and then it didn't go ahead. So now I'm coming to you a week later, in between my fortnightly postings, with something a little bit different. So today I want to go through ArtBusiness on Reddit. And I want to answer some of the questions that I see on there and what I would do, because I think it's all well and good for me to interview other people as an artist, but I think it's also important to maybe give my perspective on things, because I feel like I'm also an expert within this area. Of course, I still have things I need to learn, but I feel like after 9 years, going on 10, I have learnt a few things. So let's jump into it. Okay, so the first one that I have here is starting your online shop. Hi guys, lately I've been thinking about opening an online store with prints and originals of my paintings. First thought was Etsy, but I found a lot of artists complaining about Etsy. Is there someone who is currently using Etsy? Is it really challenging? Is there a better online place to start the online art shop? I'm living in the UK. So I am a true believer of having your own website. The reason why this is because you tend to have low fees, and I created my website through WordPress and it's free. I use WooCommerce. I think there's a small charge there, but it takes all different forms of payment. The obvious downside is that you will need to get a website developer if you don't know how to build a website. I have these skills, so they are transferable to my website building. So yeah, I mean, I tried Etsy last year. I thought, oh, why don't I try to do like some drop shipping or something? And I didn't like it. I mean, I think it's a great jumping point for downloadable content, especially if you want to get your name out there. But you actually get charged, I think it's like 20 cents per post that you have up after 3 months. And for me, I didn't like that risk. I know it seems like it's not a lot, but when you have like 100 listings or whatever and you're not making any sales, like that is going to add up over time. So 100% like get your own website. I know that there's like Squarespace and Shopify. I've used Shopify in the past. I thought they were awesome. I collected a lot of people's details, like email addresses and things like that when I had my email marketing going. And yeah, I think it's great. But if you can build your own website, do it, because it's your website, it's your domain. You know, I just think it's so much better. I love having my website. I love changing it and updating it. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that my website has changed numerous times. But that's because I'm constantly developing, and I think that reflects well within my practice. So yeah, definitely try Etsy if you want to do like downloadable content, downloadable posters, that sort of thing. But I would probably just do WordPress because it's free and you have WooCommerce and you don't have to pay for anything if it doesn't sell. So there's minimal risk. So now we have the second one, which is platforms for art. I just came back into the art community after being busy at uni, and I took a break from art online since 2021. I was active on Twitter back then, and the art community back then was large. I wonder if it's still the same these days. What social platforms are very much active for artists currently? So Twitter is definitely great if you do, if you're into that kind of like limited character posting of images and videos. Twitter, aka X, will, I think, always kind of be rather large, and it's definitely good for people who are doing like not safe for work content, because they don't generally discriminate. But the big ones obviously is going to be YouTube. YouTube is king. Then we have Instagram Facebook, so there's Meta, and then we also have TikTok. I would generally just say at the moment it feels like Instagram isn't probably serving me much at the moment, just because, you know, I'm constantly losing followers. It seems like there's a lot of like complaints about people going viral and then people never seeing their content ever again. Like the engagement is just all messed up. It's very much pay to play. I spent a lot of money on advertising last year, which I wish I didn't have to do. And I love TikTok at the moment. I love it. I think it's fun. I also love scrolling TikTok as well. But yeah, it's really up to you. I mean, I have been looking at doing YouTube. I thought that would be kind of fun. But yeah, see what works for you. Definitely do your own marketing research. Like Google is your best friend in this situation. So have a little bit of a Google, see what's doing well. You can also see what kind of platforms are performing for niche environments. And actually on that last post about Etsy is pretty great because there is a lot of places that you can go to find out what niche products are doing really well and where and locations and things like that. But anyway, you can learn about all that. But yes, 100% try to just dip your toes in a few things. And generally, if you make something, you can share it on multiple platforms. You can collect data of your likes, reach, engagement, that sort of thing. And then you can judge it in like 3 to 6 months time and see what's working and what isn't, and you can adjust from there. The next one is need help pricing my art for commercial use, in brackets, merchandise. I've been contacted by some online shops, anime merchandise, hoodies, t-shirts, interested in using my illustrations for printing and selling. They asked about my commercial fee. I usually do commissions for individuals with a typical rate of $300 to $400 USD. For a similar illustration, how should I calculate commercial fee? Should it be based on the number of printed pieces, or should I ask for a percentage of sales, or double, triple my base price, considering the shops might sell up to 100 to 200 pieces within my designs? Considering that the shops are not big brands, but small stores specialize in anime-themed t-shirts, hoodies, I'm sure if the profit margin's there, sure, I don't want to ask for too much, but also not ask for too little. Thanks a lot, everyone. So with this is when I would typically want to ask for a lot of transparency, and I would want to get a contract. When you're wholesaling for commercial use, this is what it sounds like, you would typically enter into a discounted rate, but in the stipulation based on sales. So for instance, you might sell a print for, let's say they're selling it for a t-shirt or a hoodie for $80. You could then ask them what the cost price would be for that, and ask them to also come to you with a figure. So that might be $45 per t-shirt, that might be a percentage of it. Then after that, I would also ask for a quarterly of earnings. So this is when trust is really, really important. You need to be able to have transparent conversations with them and also have a contract in place. And if you're not sure on how to get a contract, you can engage with lawyers who do copyright law and contract law and all that kind of stuff. But typically, if someone is using a design of mine and they want to resell it, I would ask for a percentage of the sales rather than one lump sum. I mean, you can certainly do one lump sum. I've had a big skate company come to me wanting to do one lump sum on some of their skateboards, and I was going to have to make it, and then I was going to have to basically, they were selling these skateboards for like $350 a pop, and I didn't know how many they were selling. They weren't telling me that. They only wanted to pay me $1,000, and I was like, look, no thank you, I don't want to do this. I want a percentage of sales, and if you're not going to give me that, then I don't want to be involved. So it's really up to you and what you are comfortable with. I think also, and I'm not sure what your art looks like or what the time that you do, but $300 to $400 for an illustration is not a lot of money. Just starting off there for even just a commission for individuals. So I think the biggest thing is that you just need to really price yourself higher, and you need to ensure that you're locking in that amazing contract, and that you're protecting your rights. And if they're selling on their own private website, you may not be able to see how much they're selling, but generally on places like Etsy and things like that, people will leave reviews. It'll tell you, how many times it's been purchased and things like that. Like, it's extremely transparent. So you should be able to kind of get around all those things that you may not be able to see. But yes, I would definitely, 1, start pricing yourself higher, and 2, look at all the options that they have. It sounds like this person does a lot of t-shirts and hoodies and uses other people's illustrations. So yeah, for sure you can do a licensing fee if you wanted to, but I mean, get in on that money, man. Get a percentage of the sales. So the next one is another commercial commission. So it says, what extra cost should I charge for a book cover? Recently, a client contacted me for a book cover, and I saw that people charge more due to it being commercial use. So how much percentage of my base price should I charge for it? Thank you. Again, this is like a negotiation for you to do and to have and to practice on. Generally, if you're going to be doing a commercial use, that's a license. So I would be entering into a licensing agreement with a publisher or an individual. And essentially what that says is that they can use the artwork for a number of years, and you would then be paid that upfront. So let's say if they're paying you $100 per year for 5 years, that's $500. And then from there, if they want to renew that after 5 years, then you can renegotiate. And essentially that says that after those 5 years, they can't use it anymore unless they want to pay you. So yeah. So this one is to do with a company using an artwork for their wine label without permission, and they've used it twice. So in the original post, they had licensed this image for them to use, and it's a long post, so I'm just going to do a TDLR on it. So essentially what they were wanting is for some type of compensation for the fact that this wine company had reused this image without their knowledge or their consent, which is totally within their rights. And they were asking people for questions on what they should do. And a lot of people's advice was to get a copyright lawyer to reach out to the wine company on their behalf. And essentially they came back and they won. They got paid additional fees, and it forbade them from using the image on the wine bottles in future marketing materials or on their website or on social media. And they got a lot of education from getting a lawyer. So when anything comes up and you're like, fuck, what do I do? Just get a lawyer, contact a lawyer. Lawyers are actually there to help you, and there's lawyers there to not ruin your life, but to make your life harder. And you want a lawyer who is, one, going to be trustworthy, isn't going to dodge you around and just try to milk all the money out of you that they can, because some lawyers are definitely like that. But also, you just want to make sure that you're not putting yourself into like a harm's way of future legal litigation if you go down that track, because unfortunately, there was posts that I saw on here that were saying things like, this company has basically put me in a really bad position and now I'm having legal problems. So I wrote a review on their Facebook page, which was removed. And it's like, babe, that's defamatory. Like, you can't do that. Like, if you ever feel like you need a lawyer, just get one. The best ways to get a lawyer is to Google, copyright lawyer in my area, which for me would be Brisbane. So copyright lawyer Brisbane, call them up. They will generally have a 20-minute free consultation with you. And within that consultation, you can ask questions. They will ask you what the actual problem is and whether they can help you. And if they can't help you, they can refer you to somebody else, kind of like a doctor. So that way you're not only like advocating for yourself and your business, but you're taking the pressure off yourself, because these laws are intricate and they're crazy, and there's no reason for you to ever have to engage with somebody who is either trying to exploit you or they're using your artwork. You can literally just get somebody to do that on their behalf, and they get paid for it. And yeah, it's probably going to cost you money, but there's different types of ways that you can pay lawyers. You can have them on retainer, you can have no win, no fee. So, you know, just if you ever need a lawyer, just please reach out to one. Don't feel scared. It's not scary. I've had to do it in the past. It's actually quite a nice experience because it takes a lot of pressure off, and then you know what your actual options are. Of course, when the bill comes, it sucks, but you know that you've done the right thing and you've protected yourself. And it's not one of those situations where you can just kind of hide away from it, because if you do hide away from it, trust me, the problem's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get worse and more complicated. And in the situation of this person, of their artwork being used on a wine label without their permission, like, oh my God, that would just infuriate me and make me so angry. There's multiple times in the past where I could have reached out to lawyers based on me giving like proposals to people and things like that, and them using them without, you know, giving me some type of compensation. But, you know, those were all learning experiences, and that's the best thing about getting a lawyer. It's a learning experience. So yeah, it costs money, but that's why they're there. So use them. Okay, so this one I like, and I'm just going to read the title because it's very elaborate and it goes into like where they should sell and whatever, but I just want to play with the hypothetical here. So it says, sold $1,000 worth of stickers, where to go from here? If you ever make a lump sum of money, always ensure that you have a business bank account that has the following: general spending, emergency savings, so that's for things like lawyers and such, you know, rainy day savings, and then you want one for tax. So the rainy day savings is for when you're like, you know what, I kind of want to go to the art store and I want to go and buy a few things for myself. Maybe you set up a goal to save up $500 in there before you go and spend $250. Like, don't always spend all your savings. But essentially, what I wanted to play with around this and wanted to talk about was the importance of saving your money and having a separate avenue for it. So there is spreadsheets that you can actually make yourself. I have a business spreadsheet, and if anybody would like it, I can definitely send you one. Just shoot me an email, and you can send me an email through the Madbutt website and I can send it to you. But essentially you want to just take off like percentages of what you made, and then when you want, you can literally start adding into that spreadsheet. You can pay yourself, like you can add what my pay is, or you can add something to go into your super, and I'm pretty sure a super in America is like a 401k. So there are benefits to that. Now the next thing that I would say from there is to get an accountant. So an accountant in Australia is actually tax refundable. So they cost around $245, $250, $260. That's basically base, and then they can do all of your tax for you. But the benefits of having a tax agent is that you get another 12 months on top of what you already have, so you can make sure that you can get all your receipts printed, or not printed, scanned, and all filed away, and get everything all ready to go for the next tax season. But essentially, if I had $1,000 worth of stickers, I would put half of that into my savings, my business savings. Then I would obviously, first of all, I'd work out what the tax is and put that in, but it wouldn't be that much, it'd be $100. Then I'd put half of that into my savings, then put 25% of that into my rainy day fund, and then put 25% of that into my emergency fund. So then that way, what I'm left over with is just for my general, like if I need to pay for postage, or I need to, I don't know, buy new pens, or business expenses that I actually need to use it for, and obviously like my subscriptions and other things like that I'm using. So yeah, money is what makes the world go around, unfortunately, in this capitalistic society. But being able to manage money is something you really need to learn early on. I wish I knew that earlier. So the next one is, and again, I'm just going to read the title because the core of the message is very, very long, but it says, how do you recover from a failed art market? So the vendor fee was $75 and I only made $40. Okay, yeah, like that does suck. I'm not going to lie, it sucks. But you know what? A loss is a loss, and there's lessons to be learned always. So I would just dust myself off and keep trying. I'd work on that marketing. Maybe I'd look at, was that art market for me? Like reflect heavily upon was my stall attracting people to it? I remember one time that I actually did a kind of like an art market, but it was like an art evening event. And I went out and bought a neon sign, right? I got this handmade neon sign that cost me like $850 that had Madbutt on it in my old logo. I still have it. I got all these like artificial flowers. I learnt from, it was actually more of like a conference, I guess, but it was at night time. And I learnt what the booth was going to be like, what was on the booth. I had everything almost like perfect. And I ended up, I think it was one of those events that you had to sell like $250 worth of tickets. I just ended up buying the tickets and giving them to my friends. And I only think I made like $50, but the experience was awesome. And I really enjoyed it. And I learned that, you know, art markets and those sort of things aren't really for me. I prefer working in galleries and having my artwork up there and schmoozing there, and, you know, having my online store. And I think the best thing to do is just like dust yourself off, try again, reflect on what was happening there. Were other people getting more? What kind of conversations? Were you collecting people's email marketing? Like, there's a lot that you can actually do with these things to boost your business and to get your name out there. But yeah, just dust yourself off. I mean, this is all part of having a business, right? You're going to learn things. You're going to make mistakes. We're human. We are going to fuck up. So it's like, just dust yourself off. And also, honestly, like, a loss like that isn't really that much. I think at that art market, I probably spent like over $2,000 and I made $50. You know, and to me, I was just like, whatever, this is a fun time. And I had so much fun, honestly. Had so much fun. Okay, we're going to do one last one, and it's saying, if you ask yourself, is this a scam? It is. Okay, so I have been scammed, well, nearly scammed, and it was in 2020 or 2021. I had a man message me saying that he was an engineer on a ship out in like Antarctica or some sea, I don't know, yo-ho. And he basically was saying to me like, I want to buy your art. And I want to buy want to buy more of it and more of it and more of it. Sorry, I just had a blank. I want to buy heaps of it. And this like invoice got ridiculous. Anyway, he only wanted to pay by check, and I was like, dude, I don't accept checks. Like, it's PayPal only or bank transfer. And yeah, it never ended up happening. It never ended up eventuating. You can actually Google and see what kind of scams are out there, and I highly recommend you do that, because that way you get to familiarize yourself with scams. I think last year the Australian like ASEC or the ACCCE put out a thing saying that like $3.5 billion was like lost in scams. Like, it's wild. Like, if you think it's a scam, it's a scam. Just go with your gut. Even go with your gut with like clients and stuff. I wish I had went with my gut with clients with commissions and things, but you know, be safe out there. People be crazy. So yeah, just like a really quick episode today. Hopefully you found that useful. If you did, let us know and I'll do another one. It's kind of fun to do. Love giving my perspective on things, especially within the art world. And just a little bit of housekeeping as well. If you would like to support the pod, you can donate $3 to $10, whatever nominated amount, to my potty, or you can buy a sticker, and they are all in the show notes down below, so definitely check those out. And I will continue to be posting fortnightly, but next week I will be joined by another guest, and I plan on doing some episodes up until July, the end of July, and then I'm going to take a quick little break after that. So thank you so much for listening. Please share, like, rate, comment, do everything that you can in your power to spread the good word of 1-800-MADBUTT, and I will speak to you later. Bye. This episode was recorded on Yuggera and Turrbal land. Sovereignty was never ceded. The episode was produced by myself, Madelaine Buttini, and if you would like to support 1-800-MADBUTT, you can head to my website, madbutt.com.au, or you can also go to our Instagram and follow us there. Of course, we appreciate any reviews, so please leave us one if you love it. And yeah, hope to see you again. Thank you.
If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again.